Have you ever read a book that felt less like reading and more like coming home to yourself? For me, that book is Thich Nhat Hanh's The Miracle of Mindfulness. It's not a guide that asks you to completely change your life, but to actually show up for the one you're already living. It teaches this really simple but profound truth, that peace isn't something you have to go out and find. It's something you uncover, right in the middle of your daily chaos. So many of us feel like our minds are just a runaway train, right? Constantly hurtling towards the next deadline, the next worry, the next thing on the to-do list. We're juggling so much that we end up feeling stretched, anxious, and just completely disconnected from the present moment. If that sounds at all familiar, then this explainer might just offer you a way to gently, apply the brakes. And here is the book's really radical idea. What if peace isn't waiting for you in some future vacation or a silent retreat on a mountaintop? What if all that potential for calm and clarity is right here, waiting for you in the most ordinary moments? What if it's right here, in the simple act of washing a dish, taking a single step, or just noticing one conscious breath? Okay, so let's start with a chore that most of us just rush through to get it over with. Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that this simple daily task actually holds a profound secret to living a happier life. He explains that you can wash dishes in two ways. The first way is to scrub as fast as you can, because your mind is already thinking about the reward waiting for you afterwards. Maybe a cup of tea or relaxing on the couch. The second way is to wash the dishes for the simple purpose of, washing the dishes. And here's the beautiful, simple truth behind this. When our mind is fixated on the tea, we're not really living during the minutes we spend at the sink. We're basically treating the present moment as an obstacle. And if we can't be present for the dishes, we probably won't be fully present for the tea either. Our mind will have already leaped ahead to whatever's next. We're literally missing our own lives. So, I really want you to try this small experiment tonight. As you're at the sink, just for a moment, be fully there. Feel the warmth of the water on your skin. Notice the light shimmering in the bubbles. Be aware of the simple rhythmic motion of your hands. When you're completely immersed in it, you'll discover that this isn't a chore. It's a moment of peace. Now, this whole idea of finding the profound in the simple doesn't just apply when we're standing still. It's also true when we're moving, doing something so basic we never even give it a second thought, just walking. We tend to think of miracles as these impossible, supernatural events, right? But Thich Nhat Hanh challenges us to see things a little differently. He says the real miracle isn't walking on water, it's walking on the earth, fully conscious of each and every step. To feel your feet on the ground, to feel the air on your skin, and to know I am alive, I am here, that is the miracle. So the next time you're walking, even if it's just from your car to your front door, try putting your phone in your pocket. Take off the headphones, just for a second. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet. You can even try to sync your breath to your pace. Inhale, take a step. Exhale, take another step. It's an incredibly simple and powerful way to pull your mind out of all that noise and back into your body, right here in the present. Now, one of the most memorable stories in the whole book is about a simple piece of fruit, and it just brilliantly reveals exactly what we're missing out on when our minds are somewhere else. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about sharing a tangerine with his friend, Jim Forrest. Jim was talking excitedly, laying out all his ambitious plans for the future. And as he spoke, he popped a section of tangerine into his mouth. But before he had even begun to taste it, his hand was already reaching for the next one. His mind was completely wrapped up in his future blueprint, not on the fruit in his mouth. So gently, the Zen master offered a simple reminder. You should finish eating the section that's already in your mouth. He says this simple sentence was like a gentle clap of thunder, and it instantly pulled Jim right back to the present moment. The key here is that Jim wasn't actually tasting the sweetness of the tangerine. He was essentially eating his own plans for the future. How often do we do that? We scroll through our phones while we eat a meal. We think about work emails while our kids are telling us about their day. We miss the actual, tangible, beautiful life that is happening right in front of us. A lot of people think mindfulness is just about feeling relaxed and happy, but maybe its most important, most courageous work is in helping us navigate the difficult parts of life. It's about learning how to face our suffering. And to really get this, you have to know where the book came from. It wasn't written from the calm of a peaceful monastery. It was written as a series of letters to young social workers right in the middle of the Vietnam War. people who are dealing with just unimaginable loss, exhaustion, and despair every single day. This context just changes everything, doesn't it? Mindfulness isn't a technique to escape pain or to pretend it doesn't exist. Actually, it's the opposite. It's a practice that teaches us how to stay with our pain, our anger, our fear, our sorrow, and hold it with a gentle, non-judgmental awareness, instead of being completely swept away by it. The practice itself is simple, though, let's be honest, not always easy. When a strong emotion like anger comes up, you don't fight it. First, you just acknowledge it's there. Breathing in, I know that anger is in me. Then, you embrace it. Breathing out, I will take good care of my anger. You're not judging it or pushing it away, you're simply holding it with your steady breath, and that creates just enough space to respond wisely, instead of just reacting blindly. So whether we're washing dishes, walking down the street, or breathing with a difficult emotion, all of these practices point toward one central, unifying piece of wisdom. And Thich Nhat Hanh captures it perfectly through a short story by Tolstoy. In the story, an emperor is desperately searching for the answers to 3 essential questions. The wisdom he finally receives is the very core of this book. The past is gone, the future hasn't arrived yet. The only time we have any power, the only time we can truly live, is this present moment. And these 3 answers from the story form a simple yet incredibly profound blueprint for a meaningful life. The most important time is always now. The most important person is whoever is right in front of you. And the most important thing to do is to offer your full presence and care to that person. But here is the key. Knowing these truths isn't really enough. To actually live this way, to be truly present for our own lives, to really see the person in front of us, we have to practice. We have to gently train our minds to come back, again and again, from their wandering. That is the work and the miracle of mindfulness. So I'll just leave you with this question. The miracle isn't some far-off magical event. It's in the warmth of the water on your hands at the kitchen sink. It's in the sweet burst of flavor from a single piece of fruit. It's in the feeling of your feet walking on solid ground. So, which everyday miracle will you choose to be present for today?